the dude's in charge of the guy who went to Japan with me. Oh. I got him his first tattoo in Japan. Yeah, word.
All right, so your first things first, when you come to our testing station, you'll be able to remove your gloves. You'll have your weapon. There'll be a sandbag to the right. You'll set your weapon down, remove your gloves. While we're reading you task condition standards, you can go through your equipment, make sure you got everything, whether you want to pull everything out, set it to the side, whatever works with you. All right, task, perform first aid for an abdominal and eye injury. Condition, you are a member of a team on a mounted combat patrol. You witness an improvised explosive device, IED, to mobilize the convoy's lead vehicle. You're behind cover, not under hostile fire, and security has been established. The medic directed you to treat an abdominal wound and eye injury. Grader will state it, it's going to be right eye laceration. You have a combat lifesaver bag and are not in a CBRN environment, and the casualty is conscious. Standard, perform all tasks in sequence within 7 minutes without causing further injury. All right. Step 1, check for both entry and exit wound. When you come up to your casualty, you will see an entry wound. It'll be a little red square. It'll be a little lower. You will see it come when you come up to test. All right, check for an exit wound. You're gonna place his arm up and you're gonna roll him to the side. You will not see an exit wound. You're gonna roll him back over, move that arm back down. At this point, go into your next step. Flex the knees, remove the helmet, tilt the head to the side. At this point, you're gonna expose the wound. All right, so you're gonna unclip 3 clips, remove his flick. All right, at this point, his top will not be buttoned up, so you're just gonna unflap it. All right, you will see there'll be a bunch of guts hanging out. It's a little iffy right now. You know, we work with what we have.
It'll look better, I promise.
All right, at this point, you're gonna grab your dry bandage. You're gonna unflap it without touching the white, and you're gonna scoop up those guts up into the middle. You're not gonna apply any pressure. You're not trying to cause further injury to the casualty. You're just placing them on top. You're not trying to put them back in or anything like that. All right, at this point, you're gonna grab your abdominal wound dressing. It's gonna be the big rectangle one. You're gonna open it up without touching the white. At this point, you're gonna grab your saline bag. We don't have one today for testing or for practice, but come test week, there will be an actual saline bag. You're not actually gonna use it. You're just gonna notionally put saline onto the white portion. At this point, you're gonna place it on top of the abdominal wound, covering it all, not covering the belt. All right, my demonstrator is gonna go through the correct way to lift this casualty's hips up to, so that our casualty is not doing hip flexes fucking 200 times a day. Just gonna pull his hip with his hips up with his belt, and you're gonna pin his hips in between your knees. At this point, he's wrapping up, making sure to cover as much of the bandage as possible. It is not a pressure bandage, it's a field bandage, so you're just not too tight. You're going over the hook, not through it. As you can see, he's hooking it on the side. As long as that hook is anywhere that is not on top of the abdominal wound, it's a go. All right, at this point, he's gonna tuck in the sides. You can see some of the bandage is hanging out on the sides. Tuck it in up the top and tuck it into the belt area. Once you do that, that completes your abdominal wound dressing. You're gonna go into your next step, which is treat for shock. You're gonna loosen 5 items. His cuffs will be already undone, so you just gotta lift up his sleeves. You're then gonna notionally remove the belt. You're gonna lift up his pant legs. They will be unbloused come test week. You're just gonna lift his pant legs up. At this point, your grader will state the casualty is making vomiting sounds. You will then lift up his arm and roll him to the side. Your grader will then state again that the vomiting has stopped. So you will roll that casualty back over, and then you're gonna reassess 3 things. You're gonna reassess his knees, reassess the bandage, make sure nothing came undone and that it's still tucked in, and you're gonna turn his head back to the side. At this point, your grader will state laceration to the right eye. That will not change once again. So first step, close that eye. As soon as you hear your grader state laceration to the right eye, just close that eye. You're already there, just go ahead and do it. At this point, my demonstrator will walk through how to wrap up the eye.
Okay. What you're gonna do is you're gonna take the gauze like so and kind of form like a little eye patch. What I usually do is I just kind of put it on the casualty's chest or stomach area and just kind of go back and forth in kind of an S shape to make a sort of like square eye patch that you can put on the casualty's eye. From there, I'm going to take the saline, squirt it onto the side that is going to go on the casualty's eye, and try to limit how much you touch it to the best of your abilities. Obviously, there's really nowhere else you can grab it, but just try to be extra cautious, and then place it on the casualty's eye. Now, once again, the casualty is awake, so he can hold it. So can you please hold it for me? And then just begin wrapping it around.
So there's no standard to how you wrap the eye, whether you go above the ears or under the ears, whatever works for you, as long as you are not covering both those ears and that eye, that uninjured eye, and you're covering the entire injured eye, that's fine. So as you can see, both his ears are uncovered and his uninjured eye is uncovered. That would be a go right there. As long as you're not tucking it in on the injured eye, and yeah, all that stuff's exposed. That's fine. There's no correct way to perform wrapping up the eye. So he's awake. So if you want to like lift him up, or use your knee to hold his head up, or have him hold his head up, whatever works for you, that works for us. So at this point, we have no way to know that you are done. So to symbolize that you are done, you're just going to stand up, and that will let us know to stop your time. In any case that you are missing something on the eye portion only, we will not state that there's an eye injury until you've completed everything else. So if we say that you got time remaining, it's because something's messed up on the eye portion. So just don't freak out. Just go recheck your work on your eye, make sure everything's uncovered, make sure that injured eye is covered, and as soon as you fix that issue, we'll stop your time. Do I have any questions? Not at all?